I'm sorry, out on GitHub Net Cinematics through Discord there. So yeah, anybody can go check that out and look at it, and I'll share screen in a minute and um, start showing what it is and how to contribute. But is there anything else, TD, any other topics or things we could talk about before getting started?
I mostly just wanted us to go over how, like, step by step from the beginning, like fresh people that never used GitHub before and all that, how to be able to contribute. So kind of like the similar to how I made my step by step with my visuals inside our forum. If you could do like a really quick walkthrough on it, like physically, I think
Yeah,
that'd be good for those who are more visual.
cool. So, all right, I'll go ahead and get started. Show you what I have here, and I'll share screen. All right. All right, and you can see my screen okay? Hey, somebody, hey, Sylvie, how are you doing? Nice to see you. I was just about to get started, but I'm
Yes,
glad you hopped in. How are you today?
conf- I come from the same place than you 5 minutes ago.
Oh, good. Oh, right. The,
with Al.
what'd you think?
Eh?
Yeah, it was pretty good, wasn't it? Wow, what a developer he is to be able to pull all that together so
Mm,
quickly on the
mm.
fly. It was really impressive. What did you think?
I like it.
Oh,
I understand when he speak. He doesn't speak too fast, so it's okay.
oh, very good. Yes. I'll try to not speak too fast also. Today we're going to go over the Web3 ecosystem map. It's doing pretty good. Here, let me go ahead and switch tabs so you can see it. And yeah, can you see the Web3 ecosystem map now?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So this is where we left off last week, and I built it out with some other data from the community. Thank you for the pull requests that came in. I really appreciate that from the people who had PRs. I did integrate them all, so that was fun, and I can show that as well actually here in a minute over on the GitHub. So at TD's request, we will talk about some GitHub basics. But first, what we're looking at here is the localhost version of this D3JS infographic. This was something that I had done years ago for JavaScript when JavaScript and Web 2.0 were exploding, and we were having some problems figuring out, like, wow, what are all of these MVC patterns or MVC frameworks, design patterns, and who are the people that are leading the space? So we have the same type of thing here. I have to figure a way to put Al and Vito in here somehow, and TD, right? So, but that's the idea: is an infographic to just take a look at these topics and kind of start to get an idea of their scope. And this is very minimal. We will go through it, but this was something I just did very quickly to just get an idea from my notes, the scope of what's happening in Web3. Last time we talked about the key component, the key concept was that I realized thinking about Web3 design, that it really doesn't stop at visual design, right? So, just NFTs or UI, UX, visual design really is um, a small part of what we actually contribute to this problem. And as I was thinking about it, I realized that, the community the developer relations that has a design aspect to it, and also the blockchain itself has a design aspect to it. The technical design, the architecture design, the systems design. So that's what this graphic shows. It is the many topics that are open for Web3 designers and to help learn these things. Any questions before I go in through the details? Okay, cool. Feel free to shout out.
It actually looks really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's awesome. So yeah, let me show you one thing I added this morning was the ability to click this leaf and then have some data display. So it can be used as a learning tool. That any one of these things you can click on them and get a little bit more information about it. I think this is a great place to start with, like the idea that as a designer, we're not just designing the user interface, but we're also designing the user experience. And so for things like a community of developer relations, I'm looking at Peace Love Web3 as a design item. Obviously something we made graphics, great graphics for, but this is where it connects with design. Same thing with WAGME. We're all gonna make it. It's kind of setting what's a great word for this is a culture, but even more, it's kind of just setting a tone and a vibe, right? So the message I really will continue to the theme that we'll continue to revisit this hour is this idea that design is not totally limited to just visual design, but also community. And then we'll talk next about interactions, and then also later how blockchain itself it's all about design. So let's jump right in. A couple of things that I started to notice that really inspired me to want to do this infographic were all the interactions with a wallet. And there you see I have some interaction pending over there. Hello, MetaMask. What's going on? But I remember the first time a couple of years ago when I was using MetaMask to log in. And you might remember that there was that confusion, this wallet confusion idea, where the first time you're using, a wallet, you go to a website and it says connect wallet. You're like, what? What does that mean? What? Before Web3, the idea of connecting your wallet to something did not exist, right? Can you imagine connecting your wallet to a vending machine? That's just silly. So this word comes from design. It's this idea of like, how are we going to communicate with humans, how to interact with this new Web3 thing. So we can see that design permeates everything in the Web3 ecosystem. So that's what this shows. Others that are super important are transactions. There's no details, but one of the things I wanted to say about the transactions is this confusion of delay confusion. Actually, I think I put it under pending. Yeah. How does it feel to wait for a transaction to process, right? This is a lot of anxiety. I heard from another designer say there's this delay expectation that you have to, as a designer, you want to communicate to the user that this may take 30 seconds. And actually, in the latest awesome demo by Al, there was a text that was on the screen for Etherscan, and it said this 30 seconds to update the ABI, which is down here somewhere. I don't see it, but that the idea is that even the ABI requires some design so that we can um, communicate to the user this concept of delay expectation, which is a design principle. This is just one of many. Another one that super surprised me that I'd like to talk about, a few weeks from now, is this idea of being able to subscribe to a website with your wallet. I did not even realize that we could use a wallet for subscriptions until I was on mirror.xyz. Uh, Thank you to Alchemy for introducing me to mirror.xyz. That's how it works, is that you connect your wallet, and then any author that you like, you can just sign a transaction that says, "Hey, send me your writing." So really cool new concepts that are coming across with the wallet. Another one is the network. Which network are we on? Do you remember the first time you had the network confusion issue where you're like, wait a minute, Ethereum or Polygon or Optimism, or what do I connect to? It's not easy to understand which network we need to be on. So as designers, we have responsibility to try to help humans understand. Obviously, these are some others: purchasing, collecting. These are user interactions. So things that we can design just for the wallet experience. There's also things for the community experience. These are super important on purchase. We recently had a huge problem with royalties. I think maybe that could be added. Please shout out if there's any others. Go ahead and put in the chat if you see that something else could be added in here. It's very early on how this is, the hierarchies are set up, but there are plenty more examples for sure. Please let me know if there are some things that should be added, or also if you feel really motivated. In a moment, I will be going through the GitHub of how to be able to collaborate on these details, such as, for example, like Refund has some stuff, but if we wanted to talk about provenance, what that is, that could be added more, some more detail, things like that. What's a dynamic purchase? Like, there's no details there, but with dynamic NFTs, as you know, it can change over time. So how does that work? So interesting Web3 design topics here. The next one that I called UI UX is all of these user interfaces experiences. And this is where, hey, Glenn had some great suggestions. I hope he's joining in, or if he can, but he may have to work. DeFi, GameFi, and OTD is a big fan of game integration. Also, here's the ones that I'm interested in is social media and music. I also do a lot of minting of music. Here's where we are at. Basically, Alchemy is a data provider, but probably rapidly growing outside of that channel, so it's not so easy to specify things. But let me know if you think there's a better way to organize these things. I would love to see it. So I just did this quickly last night. Obviously,
yeah.
do you have something?
Excuse me, Space. Yes. You changed many things, no? On the tree. Because I fork it a few days ago, and now I just open it on my Visual Code, and I think many things are not the same, no? You change many things?
Yes, very good. That's actually a great segue. So,
Okay, because so wallet is new?
yeah,
No? Yes?
yes.
Yeah, because um uh, I'm a little bit lost because the wallet come from purchase, wallet come from the Web3 design.
Yes.
So maybe it should be another branch, you say?
Yeah.
Only the connection, no?
Yeah. So this is like,
Because
yeah,
be-
good
um,
question, and I can answer a couple parts of that. The concept that I was using is Web3 design of wallet of these types of
ah,
interactions. So
okay,
Web3
okay,
design of community
okay.
examples. All right. And it's not perfect, but yes, if you would like to contribute, that's another thing that I can show is how to do that. It has been updated at this location. So this is the live version that's been published onto GitHub, and it is displayed through GitHub pages. So it has been updated. I'll be happy to show you that as well, how to publish to GitHub pages. It's just a checkbox basically that you need to select to turn your GitHub into a published website. This is similar to like Vercel or, as
Mm.
I understand it, Fleek, XYZ, and some other hosting options. We're using GitHub pages to be able to see it. Yes, Wallet is new. I added it last night, and
Okay, okay.
I can show you how to do that. Is that what you would like to see?
No, because I haven't update. I start to put to fork your project on my computer, Visual Code,
Yes.
and I got the file, and I put the project inside my Visual Code,
Yep.
so I can open it and see everything. But I haven't update. I haven't finished to. Uh, how you say? I haven't worked. I haven't looked everything yet.
Yes, and
But you are
that's correct.
there's many new things since last time, so that's why I was a little bit lost. I was looking for wallet, but I have to update the project.
Very good. Yep. And let me actually show you how to do that. It's called a poll. So you need to
Yeah, yes,
do.
I know. I know, but I haven't finished to. I haven't been at. But I know how to do it. I have to do it.
Oh, good. Thank you, Sylvie. Yes, and this is something that TD asked me to talk about too. So we're going to go through that in just a minute. And so that's a great topic. Anything else on that, on those ideas?
Me?
Yeah, sure.
It's okay.
Cool. So there's probably also some things that can be improved about the organization, the hierarchy. So yes, please let me know if there's something. One thing that I would just like to point out is that some of these blockchain topics are really important for designers as well. Um, Before we spend the rest of the time going through GitHub. Um, and I'd like to just point out that these are design ideas here. This notion of triangle of trust or scaling trilemma, or even these, which I could format better, these are design principles, trustlessness, the double spend problem, yeah, the infamous double spend problem. So the point, the theme of this data visualization is that design does have a major role to play in blockchain because of things like the double spend problem. The reason why we're here, the reason why Alchemy exists, is because we are attempting to solve the double spend problem in a better way than Web 2.0. I had some experience with Web 2.0 financial applications. And so that's why I am so enthusiastic about Web3. I can assure you it's great. I am very confident and encouraged by what we're building here. And it's because it's a better design, systems design, architecture design. Is it overwhelming? Absolutely. Things like snarks and plonks and multi-sig wallet, I don't know exactly what they are, but I am excited to fill out that, information. So one of the things that I'll do is fill out, what is the design pattern for upgradable with the diamond design pattern, which the dev team was talking about recently, or also the UUPS design pattern that I'm familiar with. And just a little bit of information is helpful here. It doesn't have to be exhaustive, but just a little bit. Um, when we're solving things like identity, um, these acronyms are very important. So, understanding them, or at least knowing what the description of zero knowledge proof is, that's what that is. I haven't put it in there, but somebody could help me with that. Maybe you could help me with that if you want. But I'll be filling this worksheet out over the next few weeks and would like to return for a final time to show you, how it evolved, and people can help fill this out if there are some topics like IPFS or whatever that you think that would be interesting to add. Please let me know. Also, if you want to describe what a CID, content ID pattern is, and that would be really helpful. And then what we need to do as designers is figure out how to, communicate this idea to our end users. Not so easy, especially.
Space, are you there? Seems that your audio knocked off real quick right when you were getting to the juicy bit on why it's difficult to explain why it's difficult to explain to the Web 2 folk.
Space
Um,
has been kidnapped.
I know he's been kidnapped. um, can you hear us, Space? You might need to hop off, hop back on, or hoggle your mic a bit. I don't know if you can hear us. Might be a connection issue. Um, I absolutely love this though. All of the information that Space has been providing so far. Just to recap real quick, this is the Web3 ecosystem, which is basically taking a big overview of the Web3 ecosystem and break it down into its details and parts and making it organized in a way that we can take this rabbit hole and actually create something that we can dissect into more manageable chunks. So the next part that Space will be showing all of us is how to contribute to this project. So this is kind of the overview of what the project looks like for those, especially for those that haven't come. Whoop. Yeah, it looks like he dropped off. Oh, here we go. He's coming back on. Yeah, but for those that haven't been to the session last time, basically that's what the project is. Taking a bunch of the terms, nomenclature, software, tech, and all that, and putting it together into a tree, which we affectionately call Web3 tree. So, and we're going to put that together. And all of you can contribute to that through GitHub, which is open source. So shout out to open source and collaboration. So it's super cool. Space, do we have you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for the technical.
Yay! Juicy bits on why it's difficult for to communicate to Web 2 folk. You dropped off right there.
Yeah, so thanks. Sorry, my PC decided to load updates, so that was really nice. Thank you, Windows. Love
Oh,
the updates. So it's updating. Maybe I'll be able to. I think I'll be able to continue if it lets me. But we'll see. Yeah. So hey, thanks for that save, Glenn. Good to see you, and Mayhem. Good to see you guys. Thanks for your pull request, Mayhem. Thanks for your contributions. Yeah, what's happening, guys? What's your interactions? What's your feelings on the project so far? If you guys want to chat and unmute. Hey, Glenn.
Hey there, how you doing?
Yeah. So did you see the what I had presented before my computer reboot?
Unfortunately, I've just joined. Here in the UK, it's just after, it's about 7:30. So I was trying to finish my dinner as quickly as possible. So anyway, I'm here now. I now feel well fed. So yeah, here I am.
Oh,
gotta
good.
get that brain food, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So just a quick recap. There is a link in the chat if you can see that for the new interactive. It's a quick ontology which shows all of the buzzwords, and the new piece today is that you can click on some of the leaf nodes and see a little bit of details, but we have not yet filled all of the details out. This is great for a beginner who's just trying to learn Web3 and make sense of all these strange words. Right? Because actually, that was inspired by UTD in our very first session when you said, how can we make sense of all of this rapidly growing ecosystem? And when Glenn said, hey, let's do an infographic, that was the beginning of this idea. So yeah, I was showing, rebooting my computer now. It looks like the updates may have installed. And I was just finishing going through some of the leaf. Yeah, there it is. Hey, some of the data points before I had to reboot. And then the next thing was to go through GitHub and show, how can we fork this repository? And then Sylvie pointed out very rightfully that, I had made some changes. So that is what is called out of date, or, behind the branch of the GitHub. And this is another confusing thing. The GitHub flow is not so straightforward as it could be. Let's go ahead and jump into that if everybody's good with that. And I'm almost ready to share screen again, so this is cool. Just a few more minutes as my computer loads everything. So with Discord, yep, sorry.
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready and I can close mine.
Excellent. Check us out. I'm going to go ahead and join from my PC and not my phone. So there'll be just a second here. Here we go. All right. Did that work? Oh, my goodness.
Let me stop streaming. Let's check it out.
It worked. I love technology. And also I have Windows updates. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Mayhem before we dig into how to contribute, because Mayhem actually made very helpful contributions with Chat GPT, and I have that right here that I'd like to talk about. So thank you, Mayhem. Hey, would you like to say hello or anything?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, what do you think of the project so far?
Well, I missed the last session, but I listened to the recording, so I kind of understand what you're trying to do, but I didn't know how to contribute to the actual UI, so that's why I just updated the README. So I was hoping I could learn today how to do the actual contribution.
Excellent. That is so good. So yeah, thank you for leading the way on that. You did fantastic. So just so everybody knows, what Mayhem helped us out with was the README, and that's a perfect way to get started. There are also some other contributions, the project link, and at the very bottom, I do want to show you this. Well, we can clean this up today as an example, but at the very bottom, here's how to collaborate using the command line. I don't know who contributed this, but thank you for doing that. These instructions are the exact way to do it, but there's also easier ways to do it or simplified ways to do it. So we don't always have to use a branch and things like that. So I'll show you another way to clone and update the GitHub projects. One of the things that's very important to know is that there's all kinds of tools to work with GitHub. You can use the command line or the terminal. There's also these other things called like git bash. I have it on here, but I don't have it pinned. Git bash, oh yeah, here it is. Git bash is a very powerful command line utility. And we could do it that way too. I'm tempted to do that. I have it ready here, or I did before the reboot, but and it's still back. Okay, so this is kind of cool. In Visual Studio Code, we have basically the same thing in the terminal here, and what we can do, and let me just go ahead and do this, cd to my crypto, and let's see, I can't remember what is the name of this one. Web3 treasure map. Okay, all right. CD. Are you here? Okay. So change directory, web. There it is. Okay. And so now what we can do is check the git status. Here's the number one tip. Okay. So Sylvie, what you may want to do is status. Check the git status. And yours is going to look different than mine, but yours will probably say something like your branch is behind main branch. So then what we would do is we do a get pull. So let me see if I could just say get pull, and it will say nothing to pull, already up to date. So what I'm showing you here is just one aspect of something called the get flow, right? So once you become very familiar with the Git flow, then it's second nature. But I remember it wasn't easy to learn. So what's the very first part of the Git flow is to add files. But even before that is to set up a project. So we could do like a Git clone. So let me go ahead and show you that. And let's see how, yep, we're doing great on time. Wonderful. So here is the most important button in all of GitHub. You can disagree with that if you want, but look, it's the green button. So this is what we showed last time a little bit. You just want to copy that URL to the project. That's where we can do a fork or a clone. Both of them are fine. Also, thank you for all these stars. This is great. So everybody who gave a star, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and create a brand new clone. I think this will work. I've never done this before. Project where I have an open project and then I clone it. I've never actually needed to do that. Where am I at? The CD. Okay, project. That's CD. Okay, and I'm just gonna make a directory, and then we're gonna call it test, or actually we're gonna call it delete me, and then we're gonna cd to delete me, and then here we go. This is where the git magic happens. We're gonna say git clone, and then we're gonna control V paste, command V paste, and that is going to pull everything you see in the background down. And sure enough, if we go there it is, Web3 treasure map. So let's change directory into there. I'm hitting the tab key and then enter. Okay. So we've just used command line to be able to interact with the cloud. And what we did is we used the clone keyword right here to be able to copy that Git repository to my local directory, delete me. So we basically just copied the contents of this project to our local hard drive. Okay. Now, that's where the fun begins. Let's take a
Space.
Yeah, question?
Yeah. So this is a fantastic way to learn if you're already familiar with command prompts and all that
Right.
stuff. Is there another way to pull the updates specifically through GitHub?
Yeah, so this is the clone way. There's also the fork. You can fork the repository so that you, as is described. So yeah, there are multiple ways.
Yeah, what would be like the most, I guess, user-friendly way without having to go through Visual Studio and all that?
That's the one that I was. Yes, that's the one that I was showing. Is here. Doing just git clone paste enter is pretty good. That way you don't have to change out the username. Okay, so thank you, TD. Good question. Also, that command that I just ran can be run in Visual Studio, so it could be run in the terminal here. So it does not have to be command prompt. It could also be Visual Studio. There are many other ways. So it's there, you can fork, and then there's also definitely out of scope is the idea of setting up a remote. So, setting up a team, for example, that's definitely more exhaustive, but not user friendly for this. But just for our purposes.
Space?
Yes?
Space? Excuse me. I have a question.
Go ahead.
When we fork the project, we have your project in our GitHub. But when we clone the project is only on our computer on Visual Code.
Right.
If we do contribution, which way is better?
Thank you.
Is it okay for the both project? Fork or clone?
So the fork will actually cause some issues because when you make a change and send that change to me, it won't go back to the community project. It will go back to your GitHub, which is fine. You just have to determine what you want. But if you were going to make some major changes on this, I would say then you want to fork it and create your own project. So you could do it that way with the fork. But if you want to contribute to this project, then you don't want to fork. You just want to do what I've shown here, just clone.
Okay.
Great question.
Because okay.
Yeah, great question, Sylvia. Any other questions on this before I continue? And I'll go through this a little bit more as well. So just to make sure everybody's. Any other questions before?
My question.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So my question is, I enjoy forking because I don't want to mess up anyone's projects, for example. So, do you think you could like, because I know that there's pull requests and all that stuff, but I feel more comfortable working on my project and then being able to like show that to you with a pull request instead. Can we see that version too?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be,
Yeah.
and I don't think I
Okay.
can. I don't know if I can fork my. I don't think I'm able to. I wonder if I can. Let me see if I can fork my own project, which is not so easy on the grammar.
Sure.
But
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
so there. Yeah, when it's not your own project,
Yes,
there's
you can't because it's already your project, so you can't fork on your own project. I don't think so.
right. Yeah,
Sorry, can I give some
to
input
fork,
here?
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just because I've been around the houses with this quite a bit before.
Good.
Generally, the workflow that I've used with GitHub on the job, and I know that there are just so many ways to work with Git.
Right.
It can get quite mind-boggling, but generally the workflow that people seem to use is, first of all, if you want to actually start working on a project, you actually go onto GitHub itself.
Ah.
You go to the actual project page where the repository is, which is obviously going to be somebody else's project. Once you're actually viewing that project, you can then actually, there's like a fork button on that GitHub page, and that'll actually create a copy of that project, and which will pop up and show up in your own GitHub repository project area.
Also,
But that's still on the GitHub server. Then what you need to do is only then on your you clone your own fork,
right.
and that way then when you actually doing your own changes and your own experiments, whatever, you sort it out on your own machine first,
Right.
but then you push the code. Once you've committed your code, you push it back into your own local repository.
Right.
And only once you're happy for everything there, finally you can issue what like a pull request, where you're basically saying to the original developer, "Hi there, I would like for you to actually accept my changes," and then GitHub does some amazing magic that then shows them what changes were made and then gives them ability to accept changes and which changes not to accept. So I just know that if you don't fork it on GitHub first,
Right.
and you directly clone it to your local machine, you're probably going to land up into some issues. But that's just my experience. I thought I'd just give some input on that.
Thank you. Sounds great. Yep. So everybody.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is it okay
Okay.
if I show my screen on what that looks like from the outside
Yeah,
here?
go ahead, please do.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen then. 1 second. Mm,
There you
Okay. Oops. Okay. All right, here. So this is my screen, and this is my screen of Space's Web3 treasure map, which is located here. GitHub net cinematics web3 underscore treasure underscore map. So this is his original GitHub project location that we were looking at, right? So to fork, it's over here on the top right.
Does everybody see your screen? I don't see your screen. Maybe it's just me.
You gotta go back out into the Discord
So-
and then select the new stream.
Okay, I'll do that.
Got it?
Got it.
All right, cool. So if you see here, we have exist. I already have a fork of it, but this is where you would create a new fork. I'm gonna see if I can make another one. So, oh, okay. So I already have one, so I can't make a new one. But that's where you would create one. So I'm gonna go into mine, and that's gonna create a copy of of it under my profile. See, so now it's my profile as the Web3 treasure map. So now I can go in and edit any of these things here that I want without having to worry that I'm messing with anything in the main project before it's been approved. So I guess for an example, if I wanted to update README, I can either click the edit button here, or I can go into this file, which is README here. So this is where all the README stuff is. Edit this file. And then this is how you edit the README file. Straight into here. And then once I make whatever contributions I want to make, you commit the changes here. You call it something like create update README. Make an alternate description, edited the such and such part. For example, whatever. This part maybe I'll say, even though it's not true. I'm gonna test. What do you mean? Test. So once it's there, I wanna ask commit directly to the main branch is where it would connect to the main branch here. Um, Otherwise, you would create a new branch for this commit and then do a pull request so that it's not going directly into the branch yet. It's checking with Space first to see if it's something he wants to add in. So once you select that, you can commit. I think that going into the main branch is not an option. That's why it wasn't clickable. So we would put our patch number or however you want to call it, and then propose your changes in there. But that's where the commit locations are. And I think these commits and edits are for any of the areas in here that you wanted to edit. So Space, walk me through this. Where would be which location would I want to look at?
Yay, let's go ahead and do that on the README. Let's just do a simple test if you don't mind. There's a little pencil on the right. Yeah, we can go into that and we're editing. Very good. Yeah. And I did see that the fork button is in fact disabled on my view. So thank you for doing this, TD. Appreciate that. Yeah, so we can make any note changes. Maybe just put some text in here. And yeah, anything. Sign rocks. Yay.
And can we
Yep, and then
can we copy directly your README and make the change in our README?
say again?
So this is like, for example, I'm editing my README off of my fork.
Right.
But you take the correction from the README of Page Web3?
Oh, good question. Space, maybe before we do this, because I grabbed I made a fork of your stuff before you made the updates. Does it automatically update then, or do I have to update
We
it
need
somehow?
to do a poll, and so that
Okay, let's
Okay.
get out of here then, and let's go through a poll.
yeah, and that would have worked. But as long as there's no conflicts, there's something called merge conflicts. But yes, I've never done a poll from here. I wonder if there is a way. Usually,
Is
one
it
thing I
a
should
pull
mention is usually we don't want to edit on GitHub. Usually we do all of our GitHub interactions from Git, the command line. So I can show you the process on my screen. Would you like me to show screen again and show you how to do this?
Yes.
Cool. I'll go ahead and share screen. And I did prepare this. The only thing I couldn't show is how to fork because indeed it was. That's why I missed it. Check this out. This is kind of funny. Can you see my screen again? So yeah,
Yes.
I can't fork because I own the repository. So that's a great point. You can clone as I did over here. So this is something that's reasonable, and I definitely use that the most. But again, that's only if you don't want a copy. If you want a copy, then you fork. If you are happy to just directly work on this project, then you can clone. So cool. Check this out. If we were going to make a change, the next thing that TD was looking at was, well, we want to make sure we're up to date. And if I had made some changes, this is the way you do that with command line is git pull, and it says we're up to date. So Sylvie, if you
Space. Excuse me. So we clone. You made a clone, and now when the fork or the clone is ready and the project is in our Visual Code, we can do git pull. We do git pull now.
Yeah, so if you made a change, or if TD made a change, or if I made a change, then to get those changes on your computer, on your version, your local version, we do a git.
So we do git pull.
Yeah,
okay.
right.
I do in the same time git pull.
Yeah, and
So I think that what we have to do is go open it with GitHub Desktop, I think, because we aren't sure how to get, I guess, well, you showed us how to do the command line version, but I think it looks like open with GitHub Desktop for cloning works the same way.
Yes, there are many tools, absolutely. So, and I do recommend to learn GitHub. The best way is to look for like a YouTube video. There are that also Google that word that I shared with you, Git flow. But let me just go through the Git flow real quick. It's really helpful to see it. What I prepared was to make a change and push it. So, like for instance, we have the data open here. So like we could do something like, and I could do a couple of things here. Transaction design. So that's going to be our test. Let's save that. Let me start the server here. If you don't know about this button, it's really nice. It's the same as starting a development server. And I had to restart that since my computer rebooted for me. And go to crypto. Hello. I think it's okay to show you guys everything. Here, maybe it will. I hope it'll come back. Just come back, will you? Should be. Yeah, should be here in 3, 2, 1. Nice. So, yeah, it's loading, and there it is. Okay, so which one was this? Interactions. See which one it was. Let me see where I put that data. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just testing to make sure that, wallet transaction design. This is where the data goes, and actually I need to replace that 0 because that last 0 I needed to replace that with this data. I think I just made a mistake and just added it on. So let's see now if web design wallet transact has that. Design wallet transact, there it is. And there is the data that we just added. Now let's update GitHub with this change. And this is where the Git flow comes in. I'm looking, we got 2 minutes, we got just enough time. This is going to be best practice for everybody's. If you don't want to use the tool, I get that. Let's look at how to use it with a visual interface. So in Visual Studio Code, we can add these changes to the stage, which is the one of the Git flow steps. We have, I'll just go through the Git flow steps really quick if you want to memorize this. You fork or clone. There's other ways, but that's how you get the set up with the code. Then you add files. We already have our files. Like for instance, if I wanted all of these images to go through, I could add them, but I don't want them there right now. Later we'll put images into this, but we're not quite ready for all of these images. So add is the second step. You add a file. After you've added a file, then when you make changes, we commit those, and that's the same as adding to the stage like that. So now what does the stage mean? The stage means, hey, we're about to send this to the GitHub cloud with these changes. So this is always good to review. And the next step is, again, review. You fork or clone. Then you can add files if you need, but you don't always need to add files. Then you make changes and stage those changes and run a commit with a message. So like update details. The next step is to commit the stage changes. This is really cool. It's only going to save these changes on stage to go to the cloud. None of these files are staged, so they will not go to the cloud. Then the last one is the push. That's when the staged changes of all of the commits will be sent to the GitHub project. And because I'm connected to it directly, we don't have to send a pull request. When you do this, it's basically the same as a pull request. So I'll push this. And now what we can see, it took a little bit there. And we're at time, but let's see what happened. What happened was we went through the Git flow of making the change to this file here. And in there we have that update. So GitHub is not easy to learn. I encourage you to take note of Git flow, which will help you understand the confusing fork button. Love the fork button. And also the clone, which is here. So the clone button. This is so you can clone. That you use that to clone. Those are both valid ways. There are others, including these. Okay. Oh yeah, GitHub Desktop right there. TD, you were talking about that. Yep, that's another way right there. Then we can add new files, add new images. Then we can also make changes, which requires commits. And when you make a commit, which I will show you very quickly, actually, if you want to see, it's this is how I do it: git commit minus -am message change to something. This is a way to make a commit. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to add all those images or anything. This also, then after we do a commit, we do a git push. That's what we did up here with that button as well. And that is the last step in Git flow to send your local changes to the cloud. Now there's that other thing about the pull request, which I would encourage you to read that link I saw it on TD's screen. It said, read more about pull requests. Yeah, watch a video on pull requests. I'll give you two other things. Git status is so important. Please use git status all the time. And oh, look, we have a modification. I actually could commit that. Here's the add I was talking about. That's the add step. Git status is really helpful because it tells you what you need to do. Like if you're up to date, or if, like Sylvia, if you've made changes, or TD, you've made changes, it would tell me that my branch is behind. That's what that means. If it ever says behind, it means I got to do a git pull to get your changes onto my computer. It also tells you all of these things, that all of these suggestions are really good. These are great suggestions.
Hey, Space, can I ask
Go
a
ahead.
question?
Oh.
So say I made some changes but I'm behind. If I were to pull, would my changes get deleted?
Great question. The answer is no. GitHub is very stable, and it really doesn't lose changes very easily. You have to really work at it's not easy to lose changes in GitHub by design. Okay, now check this out. If you and I both changed this line, line number 3, like if I added transaction design, and thank you, Mayhem, is that who that was? Thank you for that question. If we both changed the same line of code, then we would have what's called a merge conflict. So that can look a few different ways. You're not going to be able to push until you pull. This is a very common thing. I'm going to say this again so you can memorize it. We can't push to the cloud until we're up to date. So very common. If a team member makes a change, we have to do a git pull, and that's where your question is. If we've changed the same line of code, we're pulling down 2 versions of line 3. That's when we have to choose, which one do we want, right? And I would always go with Sylvie's. Okay? So we would then merge Sylvie's code into our branch, and then we can do a push. The other part, though, is if we didn't do the same line of code, then it would just merge Sylvie's changes, and we would not have a merge conflict. Only if the same line of code has changed, then we have a merge conflict. We have to resolve it manually. You have to go in and choose which one you want. You want an upstream from the server, or do you want to stay with the local downstream changes? Not easy. Definitely watch a video on merge conflicts. Today is not going to be enough to describe merge conflicts, but they're kind of rare. Only if we make changes on the same line of code and we do a pull, and I've made a change on line 3, you've made a change on line 3. That's the only time that merge conflicts occur. Then we can push after we've done a pull. So very common confusion in GitHub. You have to first be up to date before we can click that button and synchronize changes successfully. I'm sorry that I didn't do the greatest job ever explaining it, but definitely there's a lot of videos out there for 10 years minimum. So please go look at tutorials. The other thing I did want to tell you is that I use a cheat sheet that was helpful for me with GitFlow, and I might just Google it here. This is the kind of thing that I look for. And I actually share this with my students often, is this exact cheat sheet, and I'll put it in the chat. This is a okay example of all of the confusing things that are called get flow. But let's look right here real quick. I'm looking. Oh yeah, these two right here. These were the ones we were talking about before. You could do git init, git clone. Those are two different ways to set up. And I noticed that it doesn't even have fork on here. So the fork was if you want to copy the project over to your GitHub, then you would do a fork. If you don't want to copy on your repository, you just want to contribute directly, then you just do a clone. And the other steps for git flow are intermixed. Here's git status. That's very important. Always doing git status so you can see what's going on. Then the git flow, you would add a file. This is the git add. If you needed to add an image or add a file, maybe you don't. So if you don't need to add a file, you don't need to do git add. But then when you make a change, that's when you need to do a git commit. And that's what I typed a minute ago with an extra flag. Git commit is going to stage changes. There you go. So it's going to stage whatever your changes were. But they're still local until you do a git push. Let's find that real quick. And then that's going to be the last part of the step. Does everybody see it? Am I the only one that doesn't see git push? I could search for it, but oh, there it is. Okay, good, just in time. So that's how we share and update git push. You can also do these others. And then there's that one little thing that Mayhem asked, which great question. What if somebody already made changes? Will I lose my code? If I do a pull, the answer is no. Usually we are not working on the same lines of code. Usually teams are working in different files or different features for sure. So if you do a pull, then usually it will merge locally and you will not have a merge conflict. It will just merge correctly without any issues, and then we can push when we're up to date with the remote branch. So yeah, not easy. Yeah, other questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, I did a git pull. So now it's all updated.
Yes.
So you have made a lot to work. 3 files change, 26 insertion, and 356 deletion. So we know everything.
Great.
It's like
That's fantastic.
so it's very how you say précis. We know everything. The README has been changed, index and ontology CSV.
That's great.
That's great. We know
Good
everything.
job, Sylvie. I'm glad. There are many things, yes, with GitHub. Many subtle things that are tricky, like words like cherry pick or octopus merge, but you really don't need those advanced features. Just the git flow that Glenn was talking about. Yeah, fork is an option as well. The NTD showed how to fork, and that's fine. For your pull requests, please do read that link. That maybe I can see it. I don't know if I can see it on mine. It's kind of weird since I'm on my own repository. I don't think it sends me. There was a link down here that says to learn more about pull requests. So yeah, watch a video on pull requests. Oh look at this. Actually, this is cool. I can see everybody who's forked this. Let's take a look. So good job, everybody. Amit, thank you for your pull request. Everybody, either you
In
are,
everything.
so you did it. Congratulations. Then the next step is to add some data to the CSV, and commit that change, and push that change. If Robin has made a change, then we will have to do a poll to get his changes first, and then we can push. So we have to do a poll before we can do a push. Memorize that. But then it will be included as a pull request for me. Maybe I could show you some pull requests. Let me show you that real quick. There aren't any right now, but this is what I see when you send me a pull request. It's like this. And then I can approve that. And actually, here's some closed ones. Here, I'll just show you. Hey, Mayhem, here's your suggestions, which were, I wanted to talk about Chat GPT. So cool. But yeah, this is what Mayhem sent me. And I merged his changes in with the branch. So thank you very much for that. And that's the idea. But hey, this is a great way to learn GitHub, is to work with it. So everybody's doing fantastic. Give yourself some time to figure out commits and what that means, and how to pull and push, and hopefully we don't have any merge conflicts. But also, TD, it's okay to mess things up, okay? All right? I'll fix it. Don't worry. It's okay. I'll fix it. Usually,
Yeah, that's my fear right there, is that I'm gonna push and then it just messes everything up.
so GitHub is very forgiving. I was taught by a guy named Tim Kladek, who was one of the original founders in GitHub, but it was many, many years ago. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, GitHub is very forgiving. It's very hard to delete things. And I said, yeah, right. I'll have it broken in a week. But over the last, I've been working with GitHub for more than a decade now, and maybe just right at a decade, maybe a decade and a year. But what I can tell you with a lot of experience, he was right. GitHub is very forgiving. It does have a difficult learning curve, but once you get past the learning curve, it's not so bad. So stick with it, guys.
I have a question, because it looks like for me on my side as a user, I didn't do a poll. So I'm actually getting a pop-up that says my branch is 15 commits behind.
Excellent.
And I have an option to sync the file.
Excellent. Are you sharing screen? Or do I need to?
No, I can though. Yeah. So if you want, if you want to walk me
Yes,
through
please.
it,
I have time if everybody else has time. Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know we're at the hour, so if those have to drop off, then we'll see you guys next time. But otherwise, I am recording this live, so we will have a recording of this too, so you guys can watch at your leisure, for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and screen share.
Let's walk through a pull request. That'd be great. And I don't screen, so I gotta pop out, I guess, and pop back in. How fun! I'll be right back.
Yeah, you just gotta close. You just
I'll
gotta
figure it out.
close and
There's
then
a button that says watch stream. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so you guys can
Yes,
see my
I
screen now.
can.
So over here, this branch is 15 commits behind of the main. So shall I
Go
sync
ahead.
fork?
Yeah, that's it. Update branch. That's the pull. So
That's the pull. So this is the non console version of updating. Is that right?
yeah, go ahead and sync fork.
Okay, let's see if that updated. Let's see what changes updated since.
Presumption to maybe in
CSV.
the
Oh, here's the chat GPT. So it looks like it's
CSV. CSV, there is some
Yeah,
change.
CSV file,
Update.
that very bottom one, web3 ontology.csv.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
Maybe grab the mic 1 second. Sorry.
update details. But yes, he said that is now updated
yeah.
already. He said no.
So the
He was wrote transaction
yeah
design. See?
line.
And anyway, you don't have to open it because he says that the it has been uh,
Yes.
update. Can you go back, CD? See that update details now, just at the right. And another one is 2 hours ago.
That indeed, Sylvie is correct. That does indicate that Talon Dragon just updated the most recent changes from the upstream GitHub repository, and you are now up to date. I'm sure there's, yep, somewhere on the screen it says that. You're no longer behind.
And
That's what that means. So you're up to
yeah,
date. Now you can
you
make a
could.
change and push without having to
Yes.
synchronize the fork.
Mhm. And even he said that Net Cinematic committed in 34 minutes.
Yeah.
Where you are.
We can look at that as well. The cool thing about GitHub is if you keep clicking, it will keep giving you more information. So one of the things that we were hovering over before was the commit details. It's really cool. You can go all the way down to every single change, and that's why GitHub is so forgiving, is that we can see it keeps everything in something that's called the commit log or commit history. So it really doesn't lose changes by design. It doesn't overwrite. Even if we overwrote something, we can roll back, revert, because we just go back to an older commit and we're able to pull that commit forward. So even if something is massively broken, it's very fixable. Hey, there it is. Cool. Thank you for. Yeah, let's check on that. See if it has the changes. So it looks like so we
Space?
can click transact, and then it should have that detail in there. Yeah.
Space?
Yeah. Yes.
Space? Hello? Yeah. About GitHub, when I start all my first project inside GitHub,
Yes.
when I was at the school, I was ashamed because all the change I was working on my visual code and I was changing all the time everything, and all my change was inside the GitHub, and I was ashamed. So sometimes I have to delete some project because everything was wrote inside. I was trying many things, code and stuff like this, and everything was in the GitHub. But I wasn't used to that, and I was ashamed to see all my change. You understand what I mean?
What do you mean? Are you saying you were ashamed, or what was that word?
Shame, because I didn't know at the beginning when I learned about GitHub, I didn't know that all the change was inside GitHub. But sometimes I was changing my code every word, and I was always changing my code many times. And when I saw my change inside the GitHub, I was shame. How you say? Because everything was wrote inside. You understand? All the change was inside the GitHub.
Sounds like maybe.
And I was doing many
Yes.
change.
If I understand, it sounds like the next step would have been to commit all the changes, which puts it on a stage, and then to push all the changes so that they would be updated in the cloud or on GitHub. A lot of people don't realize that GitHub is a cloud. It was one of the original clouds. So
Yeah, but
if you
yes,
made a lot of changes
when
locally,
you
that would make sense that they would never make it to the shared project. If I understand,
yeah
maybe
but
not.
when you start with GitHub, you don't know GitHub. You don't know GitHub.
Yeah.
So when you work on your code and you write a sentence and you change a word and another word and a letter and another word and everything, and you see all your change inside GitHub, I was like, oh my goodness, everything is in GitHub, in public. Everybody can see
Yeah.
all my change, and it was like 1,000 change. You understand?
Yeah.
So I had to delete some work because I was ashamed that people can see everything I was doing inside my code.
Yes, and this is okay. We want other people to see our code for transparency purposes. That
Yeah, of
is
course.
a great topic of what if you don't want people to see your changes, right? If you don't want them to see your changes, that's what's really. Go ahead and do that. It's fine, TD. We'll have to delete some commas there, but it's fine. On line 5, TD, I see we need to delete the comma after Bitcoin and then the the zero and the comma before, and then it will work. So on the left of Bitcoin, yeah, and on the left of Bitcoin, we gotta just delete that comma and the zero, and go ahead and delete the zero, and then that's going to be picked up as data. Yeah, so that's in the data column. A little tricky because it's CSV. I'm sorry, it was written 2013. But yeah, good. Yes, and now this is great because see, she made a commit, and then she made a change, and now you can make another commit, and this is totally normal. And then when you push this or send a pull request, same, uh, then I'll see those two commits come across. So Sylvie, yes, I'll be able to see all the changes, and that's okay. That's okay. Don't be ashamed. It's fine. If there are things that you want to hide, two things. Number one, that .env that you saw earlier today in Al's. Yeah, now you're ahead. That's excellent. I'll have to go ahead and sync. You can go ahead and sync as well if you want to send that to me, and let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, no new commits. Okay, enjoy your day. Excellent. All right, good. So, also you can send me a pull request. Yeah, go ahead. This is yeah, there you go. That's right. Click that. Yeah. Create pull request. And these are those changes. Look at those awesome changes. Very good. Go ahead. And yep, some info. Do great. This is the way to learn. You have to do it. This is the only way. And then after you finish and click that button, it will then send that change, those commits over. Yeah, great. No conflicts. Thank goodness, no conflicts. We don't have to do a merge conflict issue. And then I will go ahead and commit that DD and include that from my side. You want me to do this? Go ahead and do this.
Yes, so we can do git pull
Yeah,
too.
good pull. This is fun. I love this. So I'm sharing screen again. Let me see. Close stream. Can everybody see my screen? If you can't,
No,
I just
no yet.
learned that there's
No
a
yet.
button, watch stream. That's what I have to do.
Yep, time watching your
Yeah,
stream.
right? Fun. Thank you for your patience as we all learn new technology. Let's go over there and let's do new pull request. Check this out. I will see it actually in a couple. There's a couple of different ways to get there. See this number one, that is UTD. Also up here, that also shows through these type of links as well. So there's a lot of ways to get to this information. There you are, TD. Okay, so either this notification or through the pull request tab. Welcome to the labyrinth of GitHub. And now we can take a look at these comments. Check this out. Good notes, by the way. Great notes. We can see the change.
Yeah.
This was how it was. The red is how it was. And then there was the first change that had the extra commas. And then what we can see is the edit to the fixed commas. And then you can say, oh, okay, this is right. Now this is fantastic because we can just merge these things. I can approve. I don't think I want to do it this way. I think I'll just go ahead and do it the simple way. The simple way, which is just to merge this pull request. And drum roll, please. I hope this works. It should. And then I'm going to say, great work, everyone, and especially T. And smiley. All right. Then we're going to merge the pull request. Please finish. Okay. Now it went. Okay. So now, yeah, nice. So now let's take a look. As you said, Sylvie, we can pull now. And if we go back to the code tab, we should be able to see TD's changes are there. Look at that. That's great. That's how to do it. Is it super easy? No, but with practice, with repetition, yeah, you can do it, and it's okay. Don't worry. GitHub is excellent at making it fixable if there are any issues, that we can resolve the issues. That's what GitHub does. It's a collaboration tool so that we can easily come to a consensus on what the data is or what the code is. So great job, everybody. Any other questions on GitHub or the treasure map or anything?
It's very quick too. It's fast because I have already made my Git pull too.
Oh, excellent. You did?
It's very
Good.
fast.
There's the change I made, and I can't remember where. You remember where it is, TD, where you made that change?
It's Bitcoin.
Yeah, big.
Should be under
Thank
network.
you, network. Okay, and let me see. I'll check it real quick. Let's see that path. You're right here. So, yeah, it was. And oh, you know what? Let me tell you why it's not there. It takes some time to update. So, remember we were talking about GitHub pages at the very beginning? Let me show you that if you guys are cool with just another second more. The settings. Memorize this. This is very important. Settings, pages, and then right here, this is how you set up the ability to see it. Is you have to come through settings, pages, and then just set that up right there. That's it. Click that button, click that button. But what I wanted to show you is that it doesn't always deploy immediately. So that's why when we go look your changes are they are fast, but they're not immediate, so they do take a little bit of time. Let me do a refresh
You have
and
to
see.
refresh.
Yeah, question?
No, I was saying you have to refresh
Yeah,
the page.
I did hit refresh, but it has
The
not
website.
deployed. Sometimes I could probably force a deployment. I think you'll just have to trust me that it takes a little while for GitHub pages to queue a new change and then push it up there. But usually we just have to be patient. Similar with blockchain, it'll pick up the change and deploy it, and then it will be upgraded. But that's something that we need to expect, is that it doesn't always happen immediately. So
Can you refresh? Can we refresh this page?
yeah, I did a refresh. I did, but it didn't. It hasn't deployed yet for the changes that TD added, and it'll actually when it picks up those changes, the latest commits, the latest pull request, then it will say last deployed by Talon Dragon, and then it'll say now. So I could do some stuff. I don't want to break it. Right. But yeah, if we could do a forced, let's see if there's a way unpublished. No, I don't want to do that. Maybe under here, maybe there's a way to force a new deployment. Yes, yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's be dangerous. Drum roll, please. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Rerun single job. I think this is okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I click this? What do you think? I've never done this before. Rerun all jobs? All right, I'll click that button. Build. Yep, that probably will pick up the new changes. I hope it is fine. I think it should be. Very forgiving. Let's see if that will. It's probably still building. Let's take a look. What it's doing. Cancel workflow. Yeah, so it's building right now. And yeah, it takes a little while. We have to kind of be patient. Yep. So cool. And that is excellent. That's more than I anticipated talking about today, but it's great. Look what's happening. We're rebuilding our website, and then after it goes through all the build steps, which are sometimes like like React build and etc. Here it's deploying. Oh, I hope it doesn't take an hour. There it goes. Let's see if we got it. This is so much fun. I don't know if we need to hit refresh. Let's go ahead and hit refresh just like Sylvie suggested. Coming over to the network, and please say Bitcoin. It's not there, so let me try one more time. Refresh. This is how it works, okay? Any other questions? Oh, network.
Yes. Can you put have you oh god the page of the Git page? Have you put it inside the not this one, the Git page PDF? That's
Oh, it's still building. It's not done
you
yet. That's
said
why. Okay. Which page? This one, like the treasure map?
you the Git
The cheat sheet?
document you said we saw before PDF. Yes, that's it. You said you are going to put it inside the
I
chat.
did. I'm so tricky, but it should be there in the chat. But would you like it in a different location? I think I could probably.
It's okay. Please. It
Yep, there it is. It is indeed in the design guild voice.
sorry.
But you know what? It's such a good document. Let me go ahead and put it in the Design Guild Apprentice, if that's good for everybody. And also, hey, there's Tiger Cub. Good to see you. Oh, goodbye, Tiger Cub. Thank you for joining. Anything else from anybody?
Yeah, if you have time, do you think you could like walk me through what the CSV file means, like each of the
Yes,
numbers?
awesome, very cool. Let me make sure I'm sharing screen again, and let me get back. Sure, I do have time. This is what I do. I'm a teacher. I don't know if it's obvious. Can you all see my screen as well? Cool. This out. CSV is kind of an old technology. It's not the greatest. I'll just be honest. I had wanted to use JSON instead, but there were reasons not to use JSON. CSV stands for comma separated file, so comma separated. So all of the data is separated by commas. This was the standard before JSON was the de facto standard, but this is obviously a problem because, like, what if you wanted to use commas, right? So notice all of this data can't have a comma, kind of a limitation CSV. But what I did want to show you is that this top line, number 1, this is the description that I set up for this file, so it can have multiple columns, like a relational database. But let's talk about what these are. These are the different levels of the data, so the hierarchy. And then the one that shows up in the click is the data 5. So this transaction design correlates with data 5. And I can show you in the code how I pull that data 5 through. The data 2, 3, these data 1 through data 4 columns, those are for like subtitles, links, images, and something else. The reason why I put the description last is so that it could be long, so that this data 5 would go, it could be like that, for example. So I didn't want to have it, be in this slot, for example. Again, this is comma separated data. Definitely, I preferred it to be JSON. But it wasn't very easy to switch over to JSON 10 years ago, so it's still legacy. That's the term for holdover technology that we still have to maintain. But hey, it's great to learn about CSV. If you work in, like, for instance, I was in GIS maps. Maps use CSV a lot. But even then, I think that they're migrating from CSV. There are other formats. XML was one. JSON is definitely really standard and best practice. So I would encourage you, if you don't have to maintain code like this, then I would encourage JSON data. But this was just old D3, which, by the way, I actually had a link that I could show you if you want to see where that came from. It's this D3 gallery, and this is JavaScript, and the one that we're using is this one here, collapsible tree. So you can see that basically we just have a prettier version of this, and with a little more attributes and so on and so forth. So this is where it came from, and this is the code that I copied and pasted 10 years ago, and to create the collapsible tree, to be more specific, is what this is. But now, hey, look, how cool is it that we can use this to map Web3 ecosystem? I'm just so excited about it. Yeah. Anything else?
So hypothetically, if I wanted to add like the blockchain stuff that I added to the README, how would I add that to the CSV file?
yeah, so uh, similar to what we did before, and I could show it. It's like this. Um, let's say we wanted to add something else to subscribe. So I would delete that 0, and then we would add let's do the subscribe by wallet address. That's kind of interesting. Now check this out. I'm going to save it. The first thing I'm going to do is test it locally, and I'm going to go look at wallet subscribe so we don't have to wait. Oh, and look, I need to get TDs. I haven't done a poll. Oh my goodness,
Yes,
let's do a poll.
I
Yep.
was trying to. And is it you have to correct to the 76 or TD made the pro because it's not 176, it's only 76. Is it
Okay,
normal?
I did not know that, but that's fine.
The network.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Sylvie. Indeed, that's a difference there. I think that's with the layout, the width of the text, so that should be okay. Let me see what is said about the
Yeah.
poll. We have get poll, and it did pull them down, and yep, okay. Look at this. Now we get to go through. It looks like this is a merge conflict, so that's so fantastic. Let's take a look at that. Not so easy. Here we have the 3 incoming changes. Let's see if we can click this and work through it. Here's some more information on that. There is a visual way to manage these merge requests, and I think maybe it's right there. Yes, here we go. All right, this is fun. So check this out. This is a merge conflict, and so this is great for everybody to learn. What we have here is my change and the other change, and I need to do a commit. Okay, so that's why. It's not a merge conflict, but a merge conflict will look a lot like this. I think what it was telling me is that I needed to commit. Let me see. All right, and I just want to save. Doing 3 things at once, that's the issue. Test. Let's take a look if I have it. Okay, and I can't remember where it was. Was it subscribe? No, network. Okay, and that's going to be TD's stuff. And interesting. I shouldn't have had to refresh that. I wonder what. So.
You subscribe. Your correction is subscribe.
Okay, yeah, excellent. Thank you. So there, and maybe it's this. Yeah, maybe it's that. Okay. So test. Let's see if that picked it up. Okay, there we go. So it wasn't in data 5, it was in data 6. So confusing, yes. Let me show you what I had to do. Was that it had an extra 0 comma, so I had to do that same thing where I needed to delete the 0 and make it at the same level as the other data. So that's now being picked up by the data loader. Now check this out. Let's go ahead and finish this up because now I can stage those changes to answer Mayhem. This is what you would do, Mayhem, okay? First you test it to make sure it works, and we just did that. Do one more time. Make sure it works. And then
you have to do your change. You have to do your change before pull. That's it. You have to commit your change before doing your git pull.
Very good. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do a commit, say more data. And you get to do a poll now again, Sylvie. So I've committed the new detail and
What?
it's staged. All right. Now I have this button, which is great. The synchronize. This is the same as synchronize fork. This is the same as get pull. I did get a little bit anxious, and I did that before. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Let's synchronize, shall we, and see what happens. Sometimes there we go. This is a merge. This is a merge conflict. So wonderful. So here we have the merge conflict, just like everyone was hoping for. Now go ahead and watch me solve this. Oh, so many good memories. This is the upstream. So you might notice that, or this is, sorry, local head, which means the latest commit local. Now, the other one, you have to look for these, all of these equal signs. This is the upstream change at this. It's saved in that hash. That's a hash on GitHub. And so here are TD's changes. So this is really cool. Check this out. Here's how we kind of do this. I could just take TD's change. I could go, actually, I said I always save Sylvie. So let's go with keep TD's change. We're going to take my change, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it right next to TD's change. Okay, now here's how we finish. This is a little strange, a little advanced. We simply delete these things. Simply delete that. Simply delete this. Now we have manually merged the conflict. And oh, you could do it this way, resolve in merge editor as well. That's a little extra, okay? We have to test it. Make sure that we get in our local version. This is fun. Let's see. Nothing there. Okay. So that one is there. I was hoping that it would say Ethereum. Let me see why. Oh, it might be. Oh, look at this. Yes, we had to get rid of 2 zeros. So be aware of where the data is. That's actually a little unfortunate from the CSV. Let's see now if this is coming through. There it is. Okay, I had to delete. Just so you know, I'm sorry, TD. We had to delete 2 zeros to get it in the correct.
It's okay. We did it.
And then we have my change and your change all together. And this is a great example of how forgiving GitHub is. Let me finish it up for you guys. We have to go through this one more step for the conflict to be finished. We've changed this file. We've saved this file. Now we simply commit and stage the changes. So I staged the change, and it has some information that it gives me. Okay, can we commit that? And can we now push? Notice the 0 coming down, 2 going up. And then this is going to trigger. It should be on the blockchain, not blockchain, isn't that funny? It should be on the GitHub repository. Right here should be there. Oh, hello? Not there yet. Let's refresh. Ah, there it is. And it took that auto commit, which I'm not super happy about, but it now we can see all of our changes. I hope there they are, and there they are. Now check us out, Sylvie.
I got it too. The
be
Git pull.
on our production version until GitHub deploys. And you saw how to force a deployment. You saw it here. So yeah, I wouldn't expect, oh, there it is. It actually already updated. So that's excellent. So that time it went quickly. That was nice of GitHub to be so fast. But look at that. We updated our production version, team collaboration. This was excellent, guys. Anything else for today?
Oh, interestingly, while yours is now working well, because mine
Yeah.
was wrong, I now have a conflict on my side.
That's why you have to update your
Yeah, so I
TD.
have to update me now, which is
That
the
maybe that's why, because he tried to deploy and it doesn't work with a 0.
yeah.
Mm.
So what's interesting is that when I open the compare and pull, it says I can't automatically merge in bright
Ooh, so
red.
you might have to. So you definitely want to do a pull or a synchronize, and then I wouldn't think that you have a merge conflict, but yeah, you want to share screen and we can walk through it. That's totally fine.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, if everyone is okay to stick around still. I just think this is a very important thing to see. It's like if we put in a push, it got accepted, and then we're pulling in, but then now because we made changes in the middle in the meantime, now I have a conflict
Yes,
from
no,
main
this
again
is the only way
with
to
my merge.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very good.
Yeah. Please, I'm sorry about the baby in the background. I'm gonna try to be really fast so I can go so I can go feed him. But let me go live real quick if you guys can see
Yep.
my screen. So here, compare and pull. I can't automatically merge, it says, because I've got this. So I guess in the meantime, I deleted a space to see if that would work.
Oh,
So now I've got a conflict.
I see the awesome note that you put in there, deleted a space. That's excellent. And sure enough, that does cause two versions to be out of date. So here's all we have to do is do a merge conflict change. Now there's a couple ways to do this. I think the easiest might be able to just go right into your. There's a couple of ways. Oh, could you show me what happens when you hit the synchronize button and say, oh, can't be merged? Might be able to. Yep. Basically, where we need to go right now is a merge editor or to the difficult looking code that you saw, head and the equal signs and everything. Let me see. I wonder if there's an easy way to go right to it. Yeah, that's good. And maybe we can edit that on. Yeah, edit file. Go for it. And then, yep, and that's fine. Go ahead. It doesn't. It doesn't. Okay. Let me think. So I've always done. So here's the confusion. Oh yeah, yeah. You can hit that pencil and is it open in GitHub Dev? The confusion here is that every time I've ever done a merge conflict, it's not on github.com. It would be on in your development environment. So it would be advanced to do merge conflicts in github.com. I maybe don't even want to necessarily use github.com for the editing. Having it in a development environment is best practice. But I'm pretty sure that there probably is a way to do this. Let me Google it real quick. GitHub merge conflict on GitHub.com. there's a way. Maybe there isn't a way. So maybe this isn't. Yep, here it is. Resolve a merge conflict on GitHub.com. And let me just read it to you. It says where it will be. Yeah, it gives a warning. Yeah. It says if the resolve conflicts button is deactivated, your pull request merge is too complex to resolve on GitHub, and then it says you must resolve it using a client like we did. Do you see a resolve conflict button? Let me see if I can come back to where you were at and see resolve conflict. Yeah, it would have been in there. And it looks like it's not there, so probably. Yeah, in the image that I was looking at, it was the resolve conflict is in that box that says your main branch isn't protected. Actually, you want to put in, can't automatically merge. Yeah, so we have to go through the process of doing this in a development environment on the client, which means in Git, which is the command line. Let me see if I can get you out. There's a couple of ways that you might be able to get out. Anyways, for instance, if we could remove the commit, undo the commit. Yeah, this is the way to learn GitHub. This is what we do. So just try to work through these issues, and that's the only way. You could watch a lot of YouTube videos, but until you actually do it, it's going to just be a little bit. You have to get your. Yeah, you have to do it hands-on. Yeah.
Maybe at this point I would be like, okay, you can just kind of delete my pull request or whatever is going on.
Do you want to do that compare and pull request? Is that where you were a second ago? And then the can't automatically.
So interestingly, I'm like in yours right now.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know how come.
Maybe I could do it. Yeah, maybe I could somehow fix that. I don't. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, merge conflicts are like this. They are not always super fun.
Oh, so it looks like I have like multiple branches going somehow. I don't know.
Yep, this is how we learn. I do have to go, so I actually have to call it for Dave. So yeah, that one of the things I would say is if you can delete the commit or undo the commit for the space, then that would be one way that you'd be able to merge. The other way is to do it in you can't do it on GitHub. It would, try that. That's fine. Maybe. And see how you can restore. So that's very forgiving. Okay, so it's okay. You can be a little reckless. It's totally fine. And then yes. Oh my goodness, did you fix it? Yes, TD. Please tell me you did. That was great. Excellent. Oh, that's good. And I do have to go.
I had too many branches.
You gotta put them back. Yeah, that's what I found out about branches working in the industry. Yeah, too many branches. This stuff happens. And good job. So yeah, you just deleted that commit if I saw correctly, and then that allowed it to merge. And so, yeah, that's fantastic. So I do have to go, but it's great working with everybody. Thank you, Sylvie, for being here, and shout out to Soul. I see you there as well too, and anybody who watches the stream and everybody who joined earlier, thank you for joining and contributing. All
You're
right.
Thanks,
welcome.
Bye.
guys.
Bye bye, everybody. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Bye bye.